part of it that still mystifies me the most is the context, the way that you set context, Ria, meets me someplace that I don't like. I'm curious about how that is for you. How like there's something of a listening to yourself as you're introducing, that each time is unique and in the present moment and completely meeting the people that are in the room. And I look at that and say, that's masterful.
Is it like, how is that happening? That's setting the context, or what I call framing, for lack of better words. Like, how do you do that, Ria? And it's also related with what Simon has asked me last week. It's like, but how do you prepare?
Because I recognize that when I try to hold the space of what I think collective presencing is, there's a way that I try to emulate Ria. I can't help it. And I know that that's not the intent, but there's something of, okay, how is this mine? How do I remember the pieces that I don't want to forget that are included in this and show up here now?
Ria, your evocation is so clear with the substance, and I'll just call that with the intent. I don't know if it's exactly what you're talking about, Justin, but the substance, which does bring us into a space in which we know what to do. You know, I mean, people coming in scared. So there's an intent, but the tone of it, where you are coming from when you come in.
Just follow it from my perspective when I've watched Ria and asked Ria about this, and I was thinking, just watching her, I think, okay, I'm really interested. I noticed that she always spends, let's say, half an hour or sometimes more, just sitting quietly preparing. And that preparing doesn't mean scribbling things down. What am I going to write? Preparing, as I see it happening, is just allowing what wants to emerge. Something like
that. One of the lines we speak in Art of Hosting is, it needs a field to hold the field. It's like why we would hardly ever host alone. But it's similar with Art of Hosting, that and basic Art of Hosting training is basically the same all the time, and still it's always different. Yeah, and we check in, or we have 1 or 2 days to design a 3-day training with the elements that we know by heart, but how you actually do it in that moment with maybe whatever happened, or what was said yesterday, or something from the news, or something that captured my attention. I try to, how to say that, as if I try to connect that potential in the group with people I don't know who is coming, or we don't know who is coming, basically, with what is alive for me in that moment. And then of course there is the whole body of work, but that what's alive in that moment, I can link from the body of work and put that into the space of the group. That's maybe one kind of explanation. And the questions or the intent is always towards a potential, something that hasn't been manifest yet. It's always kind of opening up things. Mm. Yeah, and basically I think I spent like an hour on Fridays before the first session. Sitting still and see how I connect these things that I just talked about. What makes sense in that moment. Where I can connect myself fully with. I think that's maybe a crucial part. I'm not saying something just because I remember, but something that is really alive for me at that moment. So I can be present and authentic in what I say.